Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of XAH Talk Show. We are going to code Emacs Lisp today again, and Emacs Lisp and Wolfram Language. So we're gonna continue yesterday. Fantastic Emacs Lisp. Yesterday we started to write a JSON tutorial. So I did my last live stream 2 or 3 live stream ago. We started to do this and we talked about something else, which is quite interesting. If you go to XAH Talk Show, Emacs Lisp JSON serialization idiocy and crimes of Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. So that was yesterday. Fantastic. But so today we're gonna continue write my tutorial. I finished most of it. I'm just gonna explain, and we are going to start to do Wolfram, so you can see the comparative linguistics of Emacs Lisp and Wolfram language. Okay, fascinating subject. So I'm just gonna work on it. I think nobody is here. Oh, hello, Tommy Howell. Hello. So if you are watching this offline, play at 1.5 speed because I ramble. If you are watching it here, say hi. Love to see your comments. Okay, let's begin quickly. So JSON, Emacs Lisp, JSON. So let's start to write it. So JSON parse string. So let me tell you. So if you are an Emacs Lisp coder, there is 4 new functions. Now it's native in Emacs. It's written in C. So they began. So you scroll down. You scroll down. You can see a history page. History. So these 4 functions: JSON parse string, and JSON serialize, and JSON parse buffer, and JSON insert. They begin in 2020 Emacs 27, but however they require the C library libjson. Okay, then in Emacs version 30, the libjson library is no longer necessary, so it became native built-in function, and they are written in Lisp. I mean, they are written in C. Okay. So actually there's something I need to change. So JSON parse string, which is reading a JSON file or JSON string. So JSON serialize is exporting to JSON. So serialize is Emacs Lisp object to JSON, such as Emacs Lisp hash table, list, association list, and JSON insert is parse string, parse buffer. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so they are part of Emacs. Fantastic. However, there's an old JSON library since 2016, and they are just written in Lisp. Someone wrote it. So this is kind of old. So if you are Emacs Lisp coder, you should use a new one. They should be like 5 or 10 times faster. But the old library seems to be still useful because they have some pretty print functions. Allows you to format JSON, but actually you don't need that, because for JSON you can format by using Deno. Like previous talk show last week or so, we talked about formatting JavaScript, Python, HTML, CSS, and that the Deno will also format JSON files, also HTML. Hello, Hank. Thank you, Hank. I see you are working hard. I'm between split shifts. Are you still working at that place? Split shifts. I just read about Composefs, and it sounds like a word, squashfs. I have no idea what those are, but I know you read a lot, kind of like mathematics, actually. So my Discord friend. So I have a Discord, XAH Discord. You can find my Discord on my xahlee website. So let me quickly look up what is Composefs. So let's search for the web. Composefs, State of the Union, Alexander GNOME, some GNOME shit. GNOME, the organization, is entirely corrupted deep state thing today. Since about, I don't know, since about how many years ago. That's from, that's for you Linux people. So GNOME is a desktop. They are like now foundation, anyway, they are very, very corrupt. Like they, anyway, so I can believe it's more than a year since Composefs blog. So much has changed. Finally, things starting. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is. So that's a Windows composition. Is that what that is? The reliability of disk images, the flexibility of files. Oh. The reliability of disk images, the flexibility of files. So let me explain this one. If you are young, you may not know. So you have this thing called disk images. So like when you have a file or directory, you can, like right now there's a directory, lots of files. You can actually save them as like disk images. For example, this is my Emacs directory. There are like 1,000 files, okay? So you can save them as disk images. So when you do that, they are saved into a binary format. They are saved into a blob. So I'm not sure it's more compressed or not, but anyway, it's so. The advantage is that it provides a 100% replica of the folder. Actually, it's not even a folder. But anyway, so that's kind of what it means, disk image. Then flexibility of files, you know what is a file, right? So Composefs is supposed to be the combination. The Composefs project combines several underlying Linux features to provide a very flexible mechanism to support read-only mountable file system tree, okay, stacking on top of an underlying lower Linux file system. Okay, some esoteric Linux tech geeking shit. That's what it is. Okay, what about squash? Composefs. That means compose file system. Kind of, okay. So squashfs, let's see. Squashfs is a compressed read-only file system. Okay. Yeah, I don't care about those. Good for you. Sounds like a worst squash file system. Oh, okay. So you think that Composefs is worse than squashfs. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about those. But okay, so let's continue. This is the thing we talked about. Let's just write it there. Okay. So let's continue to JSON. Okay, JSON. So we're gonna do this. Let's try to do this. Okay, so let me just show you import JSON. Okay, so import JSON. JSON. If you don't know what is a JSON, JSON is JavaScript based format. Okay, what is it? The full name JSON, JavaScript object notation. That's what it stands for, or originally JavaScript object notation. So essentially what it is just a JavaScript syntax. So in JavaScript you have something called object, which is like Python's dictionary or Java's map, or it's like Emacs Lisp hash table, Perl's hash table. It's basically a collection of pairs, okay? And in JavaScript, you also have array, which is basically a sequence of items. So you can nest them arbitrarily. You can have an array, and each item is a number string, or it can be an array again, or each item can be a dictionary, what Python would call a dictionary. Or you can have a dictionary, so dictionary is a list of key and values. So each key are always a string, and the value can be an array or another dictionary, so things like that. So you can nest them arbitrarily. That is effectively what JSON, JavaScript object notation, is in JavaScript syntax. Okay, so it's a data structure representing nested list or nested hash table or dictionary mixed in any way in JavaScript syntax. That is what JSON is. But however, there's slight differences. You see, if you are a beginner, you might think that, but actually, if you know the detail, if you work with the JSON, there's some warning. You need to know, because in JavaScript, you don't have to quote the key. Like for example, here is a syntax for a hash table of one key and one value. The key is a string h. But in JavaScript, you don't have to quote that. But however, in JSON, you have to. Okay, so, and also the only allowed quotation mark is the quotation mark, not apostrophe. In JavaScript, you can use apostrophe, but not in JSON. So that's one difference. Another difference is that in JavaScript, you can have trailing commas, but not in JSON. Okay, so JSON basically cleaned up, made it more strict. And in JavaScript, you can have, semicolon. Semicolon is kind of actually necessary sometimes. You need a semicolon at the end of the hash table, the object value or the array value. But in JSON, not allowed. Okay, and also in JavaScript, you have this type called undefined. And in JSON, that's not allowed. Okay, but in JavaScript, you also have this null data type, and that's allowed in JSON. Okay, and JSON in JavaScript, you can comment things out. So if you have an array in multiple lines, you can comment / some elements out. But in JSON, that's not allowed. Okay, that's a major major crack. Major what's the word? Major traps you might need to know if you came from JavaScript, if you are a master of JavaScript. So JSON is, so why JSON? JSON, so essentially it's a string. It's a textual representation of a data structure. Okay, and it is used today. It's it's the number one most popular. It's used for data exchange between different programming languages or between different programs. So if you code Python, you might export to JSON. Then the server or the client or the JavaScript or the browser may read the JSON. Similarly, the browser JavaScript can output JSON. Then your server written in Python, Golang, or whatever Wolfram language, you can read it. So it serves as a interchange format. Okay, that which supplant the previous vision of XML. So before JSON, that the vision for interchange format is XML, the universal extensible markup language. But that kind of failed. So JSON is created by this guy. Okay, I'm digressing again. At this rate, I'll never demonstrate this. So you guys tell me your opinions. What do you want to hear? Okay, you want me to focus technicality? The master of JavaScript, the master of whatever. What is the language? Emacs, Lisp. You want to learn about that, or you want me to tell you stories like your grandfather would? So anyway, before JSON is XML is the interchange format, but JSON won. JSON was created by this Crawford, CRAWF, xahlee info search, CROW. Wait, JavaScript, the good parts. oh God, I'm about as good as dead. That was 2012. Okay. Crawford, CRAW. Okay, well, JavaScript books. Let's just search that. Wait, what happened to my? Something wrong with my. What? Why is JavaScript book? No, I have several pages about JavaScript book. What happened to my xahlee info search? Am I searching the right place? Book review. Pattern of Software 1996. Richard Gabriel, which is one of the founder. He's the founder of Lucid, which is the creator of Emacs, which became Emacs. Richard P. Gabriel is one of the top expert of Lisp. Okay, there it is. Okay, JavaScript books review. There they are. So when I search for book, okay, because I typed JS fucked it up. Okay, it should be JavaScript. Yeah. So anyway, the guy, JavaScript Definitive Guide 2020. There's a new version. Okay, the cost of complex languages. Ryan Dahl, the creator of Deno and Node.js, there. And what? I need to find the book, JavaScript Book Review 2023. Okay, I read these two books. JavaScript, The Good Parts. That is by this guy. Okay, Crockford. Oh, okay, Douglas Crockford. Right, he's the top expert of JavaScript. I talked about him several times. So he's famous for making JavaScript popular as a good functional programming language in the year 2000s. Okay, he wrote the book JavaScript: The Good Parts, which introduced JavaScript to the masses about the good parts, about how it is a functional programming language. Okay, so Douglas Crawford, I've seen quite a lot of his videos. I highly respect that guy. Okay, so Douglas Crawford, he created JSON. Okay, JSON is his product. Okay, we are far away. So what do you guys want? Stories are fun. Okay, but technical is probably still useful for some people. Okay, that's ambivalent vote. When you vote, you need to vote on one thing. GPS. Good morning, good evening, GPS. Okay, let's do this JSON. So here's the JSON. This is Emacs Lisp. So you run it and put the output here. So you see this is Emacs Lisp array. So output is that. Wait. I take it back. So JSON parse string. This is reading a JSON. So this is a JavaScript array. So that's JSON. Now it's a string. So when you run it and put the output here, that becomes a Lisp vector. Okay, this is Emacs Lisp vector. Okay. Now, if you read this thing, this is a JavaScript object, which is a dictionary collection of pairs. Okay, key value. Okay, that's JSON. Now, you say JSON parse string, turn it into an Emacs Lisp object. Okay, run it. So what you get is this. Now, what is this? This is a hash table. Okay, this is an Emacs Lisp hash table. In this syntax is the read syntax for hash table. In other words, it's called literal expression for hash table. So effectively, it reads a string of JSON, and And let's see. Okay, so it, well, anyway, so here this is a JSON, and now it becomes a hash table. Okay. For example, I can demo. So for example, set this to XX. Okay, so let's set the output there. Okay, now run it. Success. You can see my commands on the pink window. Now you want to say XX, so let's say get hash. Okay, get hash. That's a syntax in Emacs Lisp to get a key from hash table. Okay, key. What key do you want? Let's say name. Okay, key is a string, so I want the name. And table. What table? XX. Optional. What if the key cannot be found? What do you want the default value? We don't care. Just use nil. Okay. So if you run this, so the value for the key name in this hash table is Mary. You can see. So it verifies. So it proves that this read parse JSON is correct. Okay. Now continue. So that's demo of other examples. It's a tricky part. Now you see in JSON you got this true. Any of the item, the so-called atoms in an expression. Do you guys know what's an atom in expression? Atoms means like if you have a list or array or a hash table, the like numbers are atoms, strings are atoms. So atoms in general means the smallest expression in a programming language, typically inside a string, array, collection, map, dictionary, hash table, that kind of thing. Atom. The concept of atom is particularly defined in Lisp programming languages, including Wolfram Language. So I can show you Lisp manual. Okay, search manual, atom. Okay, it says predicates on list. Now let's highlight the word atom. Okay, bam, 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 atom, yellow. Yes. No, you see. So the following predicates test whether a Lisp object is an atom, whether it is a concept or something. Function atom objects. Something. So you see the atom. The word atom is defined here and talked about. Showing browser. I have a fantastic command to view info documentation in browser in my own website. This is xahlee.info, Emacs. So you can see atom, so there's this atom function. So that is about showing you how atom, the concept, is defined in Lisp. And similarly, it is defined in Wolfram language, okay? So for example, let's start a new and switch to xah Wolfram mod. You can see at the bottom, xah Wolfram mod. Now I want to type atom q, okay? Completion there, okay? So atom q, let's say 3. 3. Run it and paste the result here. Not that. Okay, so I pressed the wrong key. Press. Okay, you'll take 2 seconds for it to start Wolfram language. True. You see what this? So this function in Wolfram language. Let's look up the documentation. Okay, press. Turn on JavaScript. It's already on, and magnify to 1000 degrees. Okay, so you see atom, a function, expression, argument, yields true if expression is an expression which cannot be divided into sub-expressions, and yields false otherwise. So in other words, this function atom q tests if an expression is an atomic thing. Okay, so atom includes numbers, strings, or symbols such as atom itself, symbol. So Wolfram language is, it's a Lisp. And this atom Q, by the way, what Q stand for? Q stand for question. That's a convention in Wolfram language. It means any function that ends in capital Q always either return true or false, not any other value. So always return true or false. Okay, it's called predicate. In Lisp languages or in functional languages, it was called predicate. But today's Zoomer generation know nothing. Today they don't know. But classically, they are called predicate functions. What's a predicate functions? Means a function either always return true or false, return a Boolean type. Okay, that's called predicate. So in Lisp, you have this atom function, does exactly the same thing. Okay, atom. Okay, that's kind of a little digression. We were talking about this. Okay, so let's cut that and go to talk show. Let's put that to here. So that means we talked about that thing. Okay, so Wolfram language code, paste it there, syntax correct, showing browser, there it is. And now go back to, close that, go back to Lisp. So we were talking about this. So in JSON, in JavaScript, the language, specifically in a subset of JavaScript called JSON, you have the special value of true, false, and null. These are atoms, okay, special atoms. So there's a issue when you import JSON. Doesn't matter you are using Python or JavaScript or Wolfram language or any or Lisp. When you import this true, false, null from JSON, what do you want them to become? Because your language may not have this concept of true or null. That's the case with Emacs Lisp and Lisp in general, including Common Lisp. So in Lisp, you don't have a true false value. In Lisp, you just say, anything nil is supposed to mean false. Anything otherwise is supposed to be mean true. So you need to specify how, when you encounter this true, false, or null, how do you want them to be translated into Emacs Lisp, your language, or Python, or Wolfram language, whatever, or Golang, okay? So by default, true just become T. Okay, let's run this, okay? Run it. You see, by default, true, the atom true becomes just T in Lisp. False became this special, now there's this special thing, not well known in Lisp. So false becomes a symbol. This is a symbol. Whenever you have a symbol that became with two dots, that means a symbol, and that means kind of like a temporary symbol, okay? And then null, JavaScript JSON null become Emacs Lisp symbol null. So Emacs Lisp, by default, they don't have this thing, but they just create those symbols for JSON, okay? So this is important when you import JSON to Lisp. So put the code back, syntax correct, showing browser, back to our JSON Emacs Lisp tutorial. That's about reading JSON. And so for example, you can add, so if you are doing in Python, I have an article on that, so scroll down. So JSON Python, read write JSON. So this is Python's version. So in Python, when you encounter null, what does Python? In Python it became JSON to Python object. It became none. Okay, Python doesn't have null, but Python has this special none. this special things. Okay. And in Wolfram language, you have the similar issue when you import JSON. Okay. So anyway, you guys, is this interesting? I already talked for 30 minutes. Okay. So we barely begin to cover this Emacs Lisp. So we kind of covered reading, import JSON, and then there's more complexity. So this is for those of you who are Emacs Lisp coders. Some technical detail, because remember, JSON is a data structure of JavaScript syntax. Okay, so what is a data structure? Well, it's a nested array or nested dictionary in JavaScript. Okay, can be mixed nested in any way. So, but in Lisp, in Emacs Lisp, when you want to represent a sequence of key value pairs, you actually have three choices. Those choices are association list, property list, let's open, and hash table. So actually you have three different data structures to represent key value pairs. Okay, so here's a hash table in Emacs Lisp, here's an association list in Emacs Lisp, here's property list in Emacs Lisp. They have different syntax, they have different behaviors. Okay, so question, when you import JavaScript hash table, the JavaScript JSON, like this name Mary, like this name Mary age 24, what in when you import that, should it become hash table or should it become association list or property list? So the most fitting choice is actually hash table. So by default, they become hash table. But if you want it to become association list or property list, you can. You just have to specify, this. So here's an example. So by default, array becomes array, but you can also say array becomes a list. And what is a hash table example here? So hash table, so here is a hash table, very simple one, a dictionary. So you can say by default, by default they become hash table, okay, like that. But you can say you want it to become a association list like that, or you can specify here to become a property list. Okay, so that is kind of the technical detail for Emacs Lisp. So far so good. So far so good. MATLAB should open source as well. It would be cool if Wolfram open source. Well, that is frequently asked question. There's a quandary. You see, if Wolfram language, it's fantastic. It costs you a few $1,000s. You can get right now it's free for personal use. So why don't I, Wolfram language, Wolfram, they donate to me. Okay, so let me tell you how good they are. I've been coding them Wolfram language since 1993. Okay, so Wolfram language, you can download it for free. They became free to use for personal use since about 7 years ago. Okay, download it. But you can also pay for a student version, like $200 something a year, $300 a year student version. If you are a student, then you can do that. But the version is just the full. So Wolfram doesn't have crippled version. Like every Wolfram, it's the same. Okay, so you pay like $250 something. Check their website. A year, then you get, Wolfram desktop or Android version or whatever. They have so many. But it's always the full version. It's never like it used to be, before some software you have this concept of crippleware, like some student version don't have this feature that or something like that. That does not happen with Wolfram language. Okay, Mathematica. I bought it when I was a student in 1992 or 1993. I bought it. I spent a few $100s. I bought the student version. I still have the disc CD. Actually, at that time it's not CD. CD is not out yet. You got these floppy disks. 5 or 10 floppy disks. Okay, so Wolfram Language, it began since 1987, 1988. And before that, Stefan Wolfram is another software which became Wolfram Mathematica, okay? But the thing is, so today people want, why don't you, they want open source, right? Because open source became long story. I'm not gonna, I talked so much about open source. But the question is, people want Wolfram language to become open source. You got a problem. Because once it became open source, nobody pays, and it become shit. It becomes shit within 1 year or two. Just like the GNOME Foundation, it became deep state shit. It gets into your pants. It check what you're doing and send it to CIA. Send to it, and you want to do this, fuck, crashed. Let's go to Stack Overflow. Why do I crash when I'm doing this? It became shit, just like Linux. But you'll love it. You'll love it. You'll love it. Every day you'll spend 1 hour to check how to fix this thing. Tomorrow you spend another hour to fix that thing. How to fix that thing. Nothing works out of the box. Open source. But it's open source. So that's a question, that's people being demanded, I know that's what you think. And MATLAB, that's another sad story, okay? MATLAB is also a victim of open source, you see. I know MATLAB since like 1990s, okay? They got the same problem because the open source invasion, the open source fanatics, they demand, they demand you should be open source. I'm not gonna pay shit. So open source collapsed many proprietary companies, including many companies that creates Lisp. France Lisp Mini. Okay, France. This is old history. Starting around year 2000, all these companies become basically bankrupt because nobody is gonna buy it anymore. Because common Lisp, we got we got several versions of open source. They buy these open source fanatics. So, and the B operating system. You guys know B operating system. Many of you don't, but so basically it just killed a lot small software companies. Okay, because these fuckheads demand things to be free. They say they demand morality, because they want moral based on moral principles. They don't. And also we need the source code, because how do I know you are not like looking into my pants, looking into my files? So therefore I demand source code. But actually they just want things free. These student young fuckheads. Just like communism. Just like exactly the reason communism, the idea spread. Let's share. If you don't share, you are evil. That's what open source are, the essence, okay? So, but it became a huge movement, just like communism, So year 2000, they became, they demand so a lot. So, so what does the corporation do? What did Google do? Is Google open source? Well, not really. Is Google Chrome browser open source? No. Well, part of it is, but the important part, no. Is Google, search open source? No. Is Microsoft Windows open source? No. Although they sponsor open source today, the .NET is all open source, but why is Windows not open source? You see? Is Amazon open source? No. Is Facebook open source? No. But they are known for open source. You know, they are the donors of open source. They support. They are the heartbeat actually today of open source. So they are not, but they are not exactly open source. So what they do, you know? Oh, so you demand open source. Oh, so you demand open source. You are so loud and so powerful. So many of you. Oh, what am I gonna do? If I go open source, you know, then anyone can sell my software. Then I'm gonna be dead, right? We must think of something. All right, cloud. Let's go to the cloud and let's make it a service. So we are Google. We actually do search engine as a service. No, we don't write software. We just have the service. You are paying for the service. Cloud, you know, we will, you know, make it convenient so you can, doesn't matter what device you are, we will store it on the cloud. You know, this is advanced computing, cutting edge computation. It's called cloud computing. You know, so store your, you know, your bedroom photos, where you are, you know, where you go. We will all store it on our computer. You know, so that's what the fucking open source fuckhead did. Okay, everything becomes cloud. There's nothing you can do because you open source fuckheads. You demand things to be free for selfish reasons, okay? You don't actually care about morality, nothing. You just fucking pretend you do. You just want things to be free. So, you know, when you punch someone, someone's gonna punch back. So when you demand these, you know, these people, the masses, the mob, you know, making demand this, you know, Google, you should be this or that, okay. They created the cloud computation. Now, everything you ever have is like stored in their computer and became normal. That's what open source did. Okay, so that became a rant. Okay, so the fuck open source. You know, I was a big supporter of Richard Stallman for like 10 years. You know, I was, you know, I was a young guy, just like you guys. I was a big, fanatic supporter of Richard Stallman's Free Software Foundation. That's too bad. Okay, so what else, you guys? You know, probably being asked many times, how did you get your Windows cursor to look like that? Yes, that has been answered. So all you have to do is you go to Control Panel, or let me show you. Okay, just go to Windows Preferences, go to Devices, then go to Mouse, then go to Adjust Mouse and Cursor Size. There. Okay, there you can make it huge. You can make Jingle Bell huge, mega mouse cursor, okay? And you want a trail, okay? Then you click on additional mouse settings, click. Then it very complex. Then you go to adjust mouse, additional mouse options, okay? Click. Then you got this ancient, 20 years fucking old mouse properties, okay? Then you know, tiny. You cannot see the font, you know. Tiny, fucking Windows. Fuck Windows. Windows 10, Windows 11, fuck. You know, they suppose, oh, we created Windows 10, a revolution. Now we created Windows 11, advanced technology. Yeah, but you got this, you know, tiny font, impossible to read. And this claustrophobic window, you know, you like my window now the screen is, you know, 30 inches, but it's, you know, this unenlargeable fuck. So you got this. Then you go to pointer options, okay? Then you say display pointer trails, now no trails, okay? Pointer trails, now trails, okay? So that's how you do it. Okay. RMS is still based even if he's wrong. Well, what do you mean by based? You mean he says things freely? Yeah, that would be true. So in the past 10 years, USA became so bad because of the deep state, and then you got code of conduct, kind of like the offshoot from the open source fuck, and then extremely evil, okay, this code of conduct. So Richard Stallman is like against that. So he's still good for that in that sense. Anyway, so okay, so I didn't want to go into a rant. So let's go back to this. I think that's it for today. We just so we did we get to the code Wolfram language? Not yet. Let me demo a little bit, okay? Let's go to Wolfram language, okay? So importing and exporting JSON is not really interesting. Now this mouse is too big, okay? Let's put it back. So system settings, devices, mouse, additional mouse options, then you pointer options, then the size, okay? So the size, cursor speed, adjust mouse and cursor size, okay? So okay, let's leave it like that. Import export JSON is not really interesting, so let's skip it, because it's kind of boring. You just import data. So okay, so hello Avopok, are you Greek? Because it looks like you are using Greek. No, is that Greek or is that not? It looks like Greek. No, it's like kind of mixed. Hello xahlee, sorry for asking this. I know you've talked about but why Windows? Jesus, I talked about 1,000 times. So just look at, I literally talked about it for like more than 5 times, okay? So you go to Xah Talk Show, just go to xahlee search, okay? Windows, okay? Then let's say, so we got 156 results. Let's also type Mac. Then you got so let's say type Linux, Windows, and Linux. Okay, so let's say talk show. Okay, so let's say talk show Windows. Most efficient way to switch Windows app on Linux, Mac, Windows, knob, keyboard, joystick, Bash, Perl, Ruby, something efficiency. Richard Stallman resign, Free Software Foundation, something 2019. UI peep show window, that's what we just demonstrated. Astronomy, the Pallades, why tech sucks. Rage Comics, Pepe Talk Show, Window Tiling, White Tiling Window Manager sucks. Window key setup, Free Software Foundation. One thing annoying about Windows is that everything, it's a common word. So there it is. Xah Talk Show 2023, February 6, China, YouTube, Bilibili. Windows versus Mac versus Linux. Okay, that's one of the time I addressed that, but I addressed that many times. Okay, for example, this article, why I'm switching from Mac to Windows. Actually, I just talked about it this week. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk about this week I talked about it. You've been thinking about dropping Linux and maybe going back to Windows. I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, Windows sucks very bad. So if you are already on Linux, I would say stay with it. Windows is very bad in deep state. Okay, if you're already familiar with Linux, stay with it. If you really want to switch to Mac. Okay, Mac OS. That's my recommendation. A Mexican. Okay. Why do you want to drop Linux? Okay. I don't know. Okay, I think that's it. Should that be it? I think that's it. Okay, so we did we talk about JSON? Yes, we did talk something about JSON. Wolfram Language, close. So check out my Emacs Lisp tutorial in JSON is almost complete. Not exactly though, because when you import JSON, when you export to JSON, there is something I still need to work out. So, and also the old JSON library, I need to write a full coverage. Okay, so anyway, but there it is. So and there is JavaScript, JavaScript JSON object. How do you do that? Import JSON or export JSON in JavaScript. It's all here. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Donate to me. Okay, so just go to, you can buy my tutorial. You can buy my Emacs tutorial. There's a big button there. Buy, pay me, PayPal, $100. That's like a donation. Okay, just donate to me, because or you can Amazon gift card me $100. Why $100? Because the entire thing is on the web. Today people don't like download the zip file. You have internet 24 hours at all times, anywhere, on the phone, so the entire content of my Emacs Lisp is on the web since 2006. Okay, when I ask for donation, you get for example, you get maybe $100 at most a month. Okay, it's very sad situation of the open source fuckheads. When you ask donation, like I used to, it's been, my Emacs tutorial on the web, it's been 20 years. So I've tried many things. For 20 years experience, I know how things are. So, for many years, I have a link about donate on every page, something. So if you ask for donation, you get at most $100 a month. Okay, basically. But if you put ads, like for many years I have Google Ads, you get $300 a month. Okay, that's the difference. You don't have to beg. You don't have to beg. Oh, please donate, whatever. You just put ads. $300 a month. And typically when you ask for donation, 100 is maximum. Maybe you got lucky in 1 month. But usually it's like $30 a month. $50 a month if you are lucky in that month. Okay. If you ask for donation, all this by now is what 600 pages. My most popular, for Emacs Lisp, my tutorial is most popular. You get $30 a month, $50 a month if you are lucky that month. But if you put Google ads, very annoying, nasty. Google they plaster ads all over, and over the years to the degree you cannot control. You say minimum, they still plaster all over. Very annoying. So they become deep state very much. So that's why I removed all of that. But anyway, so if I have Google ads, it be $300 a month. So that's a sad thing. These open source fuckheads, they being abused by this deep state Google. Who is promoting open source? Is it Richard Stallman? No, it's by Google and Facebook and all these big corporations. So that if you are a programmer, they made sure that you can never be independent. The only way you make money is to work for them. If you dare to say, I think men and women are not the same, goodbye, you are canceled. Okay, you won't be making money anywhere. Doesn't matter, if you are a great software writer, that's Google, Facebook, and now Microsoft in the past 10 years, they became, and Linux, they are the sponsor of the open source. They made sure if you are a coder, you can't make money by any other way, just except you listen. You became a cogwheel, a pawn under them. Okay, that's what they are. That's what open source is. It's very sad to talk about this. But like in the past month, I've been asking for donation. Do I get donation? No. Do you guys want to know how much I get? $10 a month? Maybe not. Something. Well, thanks to actually Hank. He's donating me every time I do a video. So $50 a month, something like that. Except there are few good people, there are a couple of people, 2 or 3, who donated a big amount to me. Okay. That's it. Okay. It's fucking sad to talk about this. Bye, guys. Thank you, Nastasia.